Hello. These are the first words I have uttered on the stream, which makes it official. If you look on the stream, you will see 0:00. That means, we're supposed to begin. Hello. Oh, that's just me. Hello. It's me. Which makes it official. All right. And look who it is. That means Ethan Evans.
Hey, how's it going?
Let's just test and make sure the audio is working. Sorry for the echoes, guys. I know you hear the echoes. I'm just testing everything. Alright. And look who it is. Oh, and I need to get rid of this.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, sweet. Awesome. I think all of the audio is working. Hello, everyone. Hello, EA Music and Vlog. He said, "What happened to your channel, boss? No music, boss." And yeah, I've been doing some drone footage, some vlogs from my Spain travels. No music recently. But thank you for stopping by the stream. So this is just going to be a stream where we're talking about the Spain experience here, and this is like to introduce everyone to my friend Ethan, who went traveling with me this summer. It was actually his idea to do the Camino in the first place, so have to give a huge shout out to him for sparking the idea. And yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, well, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to kind of talk about a little bit concerning Barcelona and then just some other kind of Europe cities in general.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that I would ask you is, could you kind of give a brief overview of like your traveling experience in Europe?
Yeah, sure. The first place I went was London. I was like 18 at the time. My mom worked for a company that was based in London, so I went with her.
Mm.
Yeah, that city's like totally different from Barcelona. Way bigger for one. Like Barcelona, you can actually see the end of the city if you're on one of the mountains, and London's just like Tokyo or something. It just keeps going.
Mm.
And also, it's culturally not really that different from the U.S. London. It just feels sort of like an anywhere city, a really cool one, but super massive.
Yeah, and that would have been uh what year?
I think it was like
2000.
2007.
So like
I was a junior in high school.
that's probably enough time for London to have significantly changed since
Oh
then.
yeah, for sure. Like I remember going to record stores to buy CDs and stuff, and I think some of those whole companies have gone out of business since then.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was my intro to Europe, and then the next place I went was me and my dad hiked the Portuguese Camino in Portugal and Spain,
Oh,
and
that
so
was the
that's
very next time.
yeah, because
Okay.
those two trips plus our trip have been the only times I've been to Europe.
Oh, okay. I guess because of all of your travels through Asia, I had this impression of you as like a world traveler. That's.
Yeah,
I thought you had actually been to like France and Italy and other
no, I
European
haven't even
places.
been on the continent proper. I mean, I guess Spain and Portugal count, but
Hmm.
no, just England, Portugal, and Spain. And I still really want to travel, get like a Eurail pass, and go to a bunch of countries in Europe at some point.
Yeah, there really is kind of a fascination if you're an American with this, and this goes for India and Asia and other countries as well. But I think it seems so surreal to Americans that in this small geographical location, you just travel a short distance and it's a completely different culture, completely different language, completely different history, and yeah, it has this mystique to it.
Definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think all of Europe is maybe a little bigger than Texas or something. If you just include France, Germany, and the surrounding countries, it wouldn't
Mm.
really be that
Like
big.
not including Spain, you mean?
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Spain, as I'm sure you're aware after walking, is really long, is really big country.
Oh yeah, because I knew that. I think when I looked it up, I think Spain is like 40% the size of Texas or something around that. Or
Wow.
no,
Yeah.
maybe maybe it was 70. I can't remember. I mean, it's smaller than Texas, but I
Right.
can't remember the percentage.
It's massive for sure.
Okay,
Uh,
cool. Well, yeah, like so tell us a little bit about what your experience was on the Portuguese Camino, and how that kind of compares to Barcelona.
Yeah, so the Portuguese Camino was my dad's idea. His retirement hobby has been to go on these long walks. He's done a bunch of walks in the United States, including the Appalachian Trail and the John Muir Trail, Colorado Trail, and then also some hikes he's done in Europe, in France, and some other places. So he had done the Frances, the Camino de Santiago that we hiked on his own a few years before we went to Portugal, and he wanted to do a similar experience with me.
Mm.
So we flew into Lisbon. The trail starts in Lisbon, and I don't know how many miles it is. It took about 5 weeks. It's similar to the length of the Frances, but it goes from Lisbon north all the way through Portugal, across the border into Spain, and it ends in Santiago de Compostela. And the experience was awesome for me because I'd only been to London before, so
Mm,
it
right.
felt like an intro to. It actually felt like the first time going to Europe, to be honest, because London feels like you could be in a number of different places, but Lisbon is extremely distinct. You're not seeing people from all over the world. We kind of are, but not as much as in London.
Mm,
And Lisbon was really similar to Barcelona, actually.
really?
Coastal um, like a lot of amazing seafood. Although I guess instead of paella, there were some other Portuguese dishes that were seafood based that were really good, and
Mm.
very hilly, just like Barcelona. So the streets would go way up on an incline, almost like San Francisco or something.
Huh.
And it was awesome. The first night, I just walked around until like 3 a.m. because there were block parties in the street and just tons of people out. The food and drinking culture there is really fun. People stay out super late, and yeah. So compared to Spain, it's very similar. The language is quite different. I thought it was going to be more similar to Spanish, but even common words like goodbye and thank you is obrigado instead of
Mm,
gracias. So there's like major differences.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, landscape wise and architecturally, it looked very similar to Barcelona, but minus some of the weirder buildings that you see in Barcelona.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna take just 1 second to to interact with people here,
Yeah.
and Jay's given me a little bit of feedback on that recent video. Shout out to Jay in the chat. He was here on the recent live stream where we talked about drone filming and video editing, and he gave me some really good feedback on transitions, and we were kind of musing on that. And by the way, Jay, that really has been implemented into my future stuff. And you kind of have to work ahead if you want to be on an upload schedule. So this video that I had today was done before we had that conversation. So it is what it is. But he said your most recent upload is a W. Could recommend adding shakes on transitions like the first two or three to add impact. So appreciate that comment, and I definitely will keep on workshopping the transitions. Even me and Ethan had a conversation about film transitions 2 days ago or whatever. Right.
Is a shake like a camera shake?
Yeah, I think that's what he means. Maybe you can clarify, Jay, but I think shake is kind of like it would it would agitate before it
Yeah. No, I see that a lot as like a transition,
it
or
would
even in the middle of a shot.
yeah it's got to agitate before it transmutates basically. Anyway, so let's get back to the topic at hand. So yeah, that's really interesting that um, there's quite a few. Well, and it makes sense that there's quite a few similarities in the. Would you say the biome as well as the architecture
The
and
biome was cool. It was a little bit like Spain, where there are portions that are semi-arid or even like almost like a desert, and then there are other parts that are really green and seem like they get a lot more
mm,
rainfall.
and is
Um,
that does that follow, like, you know how you get into green Spain when you get towards the end towards Santiago? Does that happen as well in Portugal? Like it gets greener as you get closer to Santiago, or?
It was more all over the place.
Hmm.
The green portions would largely be determined by altitude. So sometimes you're at a higher altitude on the Portuguese Camino, and it would be greener. Also, the Portuguese Camino that we did was a coastal route. There's two routes for the Portuguese
Ah,
Camino, an
that's right.
inland route and a coastal route. So coastal vegetation is just going to be different in general. So I'm actually
Hmm.
not sure what like the interior of Portugal would look like, but my guess is it would be more arid and maybe more similar to the interior of Spain.
Yeah, it seems like that whole region is pretty vast. If you average it out, semi-arid to arid space, and I mean down, then you have Morocco and Africa, which is
Right.
right.
Yeah. And I would
So,
guess Morocco probably looks a bit like Portugal.
mm.
And I wanted to go to Morocco on that trip with my dad. I just didn't quite have enough time. At some point, I'll go there for
The
sure.
architecture would be, well, I'm pulling out of thin air, but it would be more, Islamic influenced, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I've heard that the southern coast of Portugal and the southern coast of Spain, for that matter, because they both border the Mediterranean, have a lot of Islamic architecture. And there's certain port cities that look like you're in Morocco, is what I've heard.
Hmm.
And you can also take just a boat from those locations over to Morocco, which would be a really cool way to arrive.
What about the yeah, yeah. So my next question would be like, culture wise, how do you feel like it differed? Like the overall disposition of people. I
Right.
mean,
So I did notice some differences there. I'm more familiar with Spanish culture already, so the differences might have just been due to my ignorance of Portuguese culture. But I know that. Uh, oh, I actually I've read a bit about Portuguese culture, like the bossa nova music
mhm.
and the emotion that that's supposed to convey, which is like extreme melancholy. Um, and so this doesn't really make sense, but I thought that Portugal had a slightly more melancholy feel than Spain. So it's not a general. I don't know that much about the cultures,
Yeah.
and like Portugal's history, I really don't know much about. But yeah, it had a little bit more of like a slow city vibe. Spain feels a bit more like bustling metropolises.
Mm.
Like Madrid, for example, I think is like the fifth largest city, maybe the fourth largest city in all of Europe. Really, really huge.
Yeah, and
Um,
when you're in that city, you're like, okay, I'm in America. I mean, it feels like just a big city anywhere in a first world country.
hmm Yeah, Madrid feels more similar to London than Barcelona did, although neither Madrid or Barcelona are that similar to London.
Yeah, it's almost like the bigger the city, it's more cultured, but they almost become a little bit bland and just like all the same to an extent, because there's so much diversity and population that it's like, oh, it's another big city. I don't
Right.
know.
No, I've noticed that anytime I'm in a massive city, and then once you go into the country in general, it feels more like you've seen that country and you understand some of its actually unique traits.
Yeah. So honing in on Barcelona, what would you say that, because I know you, for anyone that didn't know, since how we were planning this trip, Ethan did the majority of the planning, and my assignment was supposed to be to practice my Spanish so that I could really communicate with the locals. And so I didn't really do a whole lot of planning, and I didn't really look up the cities and see, oh, what are these sites to see, and he did a bit of that so that we'd have an idea of what we were going to see. So with that being said, with the research you had done in the Barcelona and what you were already expecting, say with like the Gothic Quarter and the Sagrada, what actually surprised you the most about your experience of being in Barcelona?
Well, okay, it was definitely the Gaudi architecture, and I knew that was going to be crazy. but that surprised me the most. And anyone who watched the video saw the Sagrada Familia from the air, and
Oh, I think we lost him. I think y'all can still hear me. I think that's on his end.
I lost you there.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
here you
You're
go.
back.
Okay.
So, last thing that you were saying was whoever watched the video saw the Sagrada from the air. That's the last thing
hmm
I heard.
So the Sagrada Familia, the Sagrada Familia in particular, there is no other building like that on the planet. That is totally unique. And
Absolutely.
just really bizarre too, because cathedrals are awesome. I mean, we had a great time seeing a bunch of cathedrals in Spain, and a lot of them are unique in their own, in almost like a science fiction film or something. It
Yeah.
it looks so weird that it's just beyond what you could expect. And I had seen a bunch of pictures of it too, so I didn't expect to be so surprised by it.
It's the opposite of the phenomenon where something is overhyped and then when you're in person it kind of doesn't meet up to it. So would you say that it exceeded your
Definitely,
expectations?
absolutely. I've never seen architecture that's that weird before.
That's cool. Yeah, I was trying to look up right now. So the interesting thing about the Sagrada, obviously, it's been in construction since 1882,
Mhm.
and it began under that architect Francisco de Paula de Villar. Yeah, and then he resigned a year later, and Gaudi
Oh,
took
that's
over.
right.
And
Yeah, yeah.
so he had this whole plan. Francisco, you tend to fixate on the fact that it's modernist and it's Art Nouveau. Um, that the Sagrada Familia is kind of that's the style that it embodies, but
hmm
actually it's like a fusing of Gothic forms and the Gothic approach with the art modernist and the Art Nouveau, and I think
Right.
that's part of the surreal, bizarre effect it has. It kind of brings those two worlds together because it's not purely abstract; it's still kind of like grand and forbidding looking,
hmm
wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. No, it is kind of forbidding because it's so tall, considering its overall footprint in the city. It just towers over everything, and it's in a neighborhood where there aren't any other large buildings around it, which I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's the tallest thing around for a long distance in every direction.
Yeah, yeah, it really sticks up, and that's without like the Tower of Jesus and some of the other towers that are being constructed right now, which are taller than what's there now.
Right. Yeah, it will have 18 towers in total when it's completed. And I think they all represent either the apostles and
Yeah. So I guess if you would you elaborate a little bit more on your like process of like in your mind kind of critiquing the Sagrada or saying like, is it really that? Because
yeah,
I'm just remembering our first impression of seeing that first side of it, and we hadn't gone into the interior, and we both kind of had like a very visceral reaction to that one side of the
right.
cathedral. I don't know if it's north or south. I forget which side that is.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure either, but we both had the same experience where it was a little disappointing at first because the side that we were looking at was the original one that was constructed in the 1800s, and it looks very old at this point. And so it doesn't match the rest of the building, and it looks a little incongruous because you've got the old stone right next to these newer towers that are being built. And also, like, it looks a little gaudy. It looks like there's too much stuff packed into one place. I totally flipped on it, and then later I really liked that aspect of it too. But I could see someone looking at it and just be thinking, this looks like way too much stuff. It's way too busy,
yeah.
um, like almost to where it just becomes noise. Uh,
So I just looked it up. That's actually called the Nativity facade, and that
okay,
one was constructed between 1894 and 1930. So yeah, that one you can see it in the vlog that I did because the so wait, this is the It faces the rising sun to the northeast. Um, so you can see this one in the vlog, and it does look very, very busy. And I remember us also having the reaction of like, it looks like dirty, and
Yeah.
it looks like that because it's really, really old. And so there's also some mismatch where you can see certain parts look really grungy and old, and then there's newer stone. And I would imagine that eventually they will kind of like refinish that stone on that side, because it's, it's such a passion project at this point, over like 130, 140 years, that I'm sure they'll like eventually get around to doing something to make that look a little more like shiny
Definitely.
or
And
modern.
they do that with the other cathedrals. Some of the cathedrals we saw were far like more pristine looking than I'm sure they were before their recent do-over.
Yeah, and we didn't even see like we saw a tiny percentage of the cathedrals that are even in Barcelona.
Right, there are a ton.
Yeah.
The Barcelona Cathedral was in the first video. You got a descending shot of it in the afternoon light, and we stepped in there very briefly to get our pilgrim passport, the document that we used to walk on the Camino. But we didn't actually explore inside that cathedral, and that one is very iconic as well. Smaller than the Sagrada, though, for sure.
Yeah, and I think we just had other things that I don't think we had seen the Sagrada. We went there to try to get our pilgrim passport to get that taken care of. And then I think we took
Right.
the metro to the Sagrada, right?
hmm Yeah, we went to the Sagrada right after breakfast, and then walked from there to Parkwell, which turned out to be a pretty long walk.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
And
what was the most surprising thing for you? Because I mean, it was first Europe experience too.
totally. So I had touched on this when I talked to Rusty the other day a little bit. One of the big surprising things was just that everything was in Catalan. I fully forgot or didn't know about that there would be a different language than Spanish. And
Right.
I remember being irritated about it. I was like, I came to practice my Spanish and it's all in this like unknown language. So that surprised me. Um, the other thing that surprised me was the vibe of the city. When I go into a big city of that level, I'm really expecting like heavy bustle, really stressed out looking people,
Right.
and unfriendly people, and like kind of a tense atmosphere. And granted, it could be kind of this way because of the time period that we came in the summer, and we came during a big music festival, and there's probably a lot of people, young people and different tourists from Europe there. So that like kind of relaxed atmosphere surprised me. And there was one more thing I was gonna say. Oh, I think just the vegetation kind of surprised me, because when I think of a coastal city, I'm expecting just straight up palm trees and that's it. But it actually had all those deciduous trees mixed in, and it didn't feel especially humid, which I expect a coastal area to have a lot of moisture from the sea.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's cool. I remember I was also surprised. This is another thing I thought of at how clean the water was when we went to the beach
Mm.
there. The water was like perfectly clear, and I don't think the Mediterranean's always like that. But this was the first time for me to go to the Mediterranean. I hadn't been there before, so my impression was just like, wow, the Mediterranean Sea is crystal clear water,
Yeah, no,
and
it
it
was almost
was really cool.
it was almost shockingly clear. It was like, are you
Yeah,
serious? Is this how it is? And the funny thing is that that's not how it always even looks at Barcelona.
no,
It just so happens that day that we went there, it was like perfectly clear and pristine. It felt like the first day that we were in Barcelona, like all the stars aligned to make it seem like this magical city. Like all the
right.
drone shots that I got looked perfect. Like, uh, yeah, it was really cool.
The weather was great that day too. It was perfectly sunny, and anyone's gonna love that city. So I think the chill vibe I've heard is just in like a part of that city. Everybody comments on that.
Mm.
It doesn't have the the super fast paced or like stressed out feeling you'd get in some other cities.
Yeah, and then once I went to, because you know that I spent a lot of time there. Um,
Yeah, you're there more.
no spoilers, because y'all see why eventually. But once I went to the National Art Museum there, I learned a bit more about the history of Barcelona, and knowing that during the 1890s, perhaps before 1880s, 1890s, and into the early 20th century, it was really this artistic hub. And for architects, for painters, and really just overall for Art Nouveau, like modernist art that was challenging the some of the traditional approaches to art. And once I learned that, and music as well, so I feel like that contributes to the overall atmosphere in the city, is like all of these creative, artistic people having been involved in the creation of the city.
Right,
Like
right.
there's pictures of what's his name at Park Güell, Salvador Dali.
Oh, really? That's
Like
cool.
artists would come to that city and hang out with each other and collaborate and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. It definitely has that feel, and more so than actually more than any city I've been to before,
Hmm.
um, and certainly more so than anywhere I've been in Europe before. Barcelona had the most artistic feel.
So the next thing that I would be curious about is if you would plan a trip to Barcelona now, like maybe if you would go with your family or you'd go with someone else that hadn't been there, what would you do differently about how you approach your time in the city?
I would definitely go to that monastery, which I'm blanking on the name of,
Mm,
but there's a monastery that's about an hour from Barcelona that's up in these mountains next to,
Montserrat.
yeah, Montserrat. I would
Montserrat.
go there for sure. Really amazing photos I've seen of that place. And I just didn't know about it until we were there. I think someone told us about it that lived in Barcelona. Um,
It
but
was
that
the
would be, who was it?
it was the guy who was really friendly and was saying, "Hey, I think that's illegal." But
Oh
he,
yeah.
but when I was flying my drone, but he was being really nice about it, and he's like, "That's really cool. I think it's illegal."
Yeah, it's when you were filming Barcelona Cathedral and you had just gotten an amazing shot of it too, so he was really excited to see it.
Oh yeah, I think I showed him on the viewfinder once I landed it.
Right.
So I was gonna just pull this up. Yeah, this place would be amazing to go to. This is gonna
Yeah,
be kind
Monster.
of a small image, but oh, images may be subject to copyright. Oh my god. No, this is Montserrat. Let's see if my camera will focus. All right,
Yeah,
never mind. I'll put it I'll put it in the video in post. But basically, it's this. I think it's carved into the mountain, kind of. It's like this, or is it? Or is it just a huge structure built on
I
there?
I thought it was just built sort of on the mountain and sort of like inset into the mountain even.
Yeah,
So, well, I think what you're saying is a part accurate
yeah.
description.
It's not just carved out of it, but
Well,
yeah.
yeah, it's not like the mines of Moria or something, but it looks like that. It looks like it's one structure continuous with the mountain, which I guess was the intent when designing it. And gosh, it'd be amazing to go
Mm.
there. So I would have planned that in. I just didn't know about that. Didn't know that existed.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, any city of that size, well, maybe not any city of that size, because I didn't get the same impression from like Logroño and some of the other cities where I'm like, gosh, I could spend weeks here.
Right.
You probably could, but maybe it's just my interest being more um, architectural and artistic and stuff in nature. I don't know, like what are other things to do in Logroño, for example, that we didn't get to do?
I don't know. I mean, we flew through so many places, like Burgos, for example. I would love to have stayed there for a few days.
Yeah.
And yeah, Logroño, I remember having, and even having been to Spain twice, most of the country I still haven't seen because it's so massive. Haven't been on the Mediterranean
Mm.
coast of Spain at all. Haven't been to Bilbao, which is supposed to be nice. And I haven't been to the French border.
And Seville, right?
Sevilla,
That's
yeah,
a
that's
huge
got the
one.
largest cathedral, right?
I
The
think
number
so. Yeah,
one
because we were looking that up. Okay, so
Mm.
let me get them straight in my mind because we saw so many cathedrals. The most impressive cathedrals, number one is definitely the Sagrada,
For sure.
especially, and for anyone watching, you'll see why. I mean, if you want, you can just look it up, but you'll see why once you see my footage of the interior, including I, I paid extra to go down the um, Fibonacci spiral staircase that's within there, and it's just insane. So that one's number one for sure. And then was Leon the one that had all of the incredible stained glass?
Yes, that one was
Okay,
awesome.
so
That was
that
really
one we were kind of ranking third,
Yep.
and then Burgos we were putting number two, right?
Yeah, because Burgos just had that really pristine white stone, and it looked really new for some reason. Like they had restored the
Oh
cathedral
yeah,
recently. It's not
yeah,
new; it's old, but they must have done a really comprehensive restoration that was somehow done in this unified manner, to where all of it looks like pure white and amazing.
yeah. And so that one had that. What do they call it? What's
A
the
cloister?
yeah, the cloister where you
Yeah,
step
cloister.
outside and it's still you're inside of it, but it's like yeah, it's the cloister. And then
Yep.
if you go further, didn't you get to that place where um and it had a bunch of stuff in the ceiling in that cloister. I thought I remembered like weird figures and stuff carved into the
Yeah,
ceiling. And
there was a lot of weird stuff on the walls.
and then wasn't that the one where you go out into another place and then there's like a hallway with all the stained glass everywhere, or was that
Well, you
am I
might be
thinking
thinking
of
of the right place. The cloister had a big hallway around it.
oh
Oop,
there you go.
okay, I'm back.
You said
Yes,
the cloister had a big hallway around it.
it had a hallway around it with these little rooms. One of them was full of portraits of people, and another room was full
Yeah.
of giant books. You remember those big books? They're like
Oh
this.
yeah.
They look like ridiculous, like props for a movie or something. Um, and I bet they're like illuminated manuscripts inside, like the really cool um, pictures, like where you see the text with all the little filigree and like little village in the corner of the page.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what would be inside those. But yeah, so we must be thinking of the same thing then.
And then
So,
I think it was multiple cathedrals that would have a part, usually towards the end, where it would have um, all this all this golden stuff inside cases, like
oh, the relics, yeah.
golden
Right.
yeah, the relics, like golden goblets and like all of this crazy, super elaborate looking stuff.
Yep. I mean, that was one of the things I was most excited for you to see, because I had seen some of this already, is like this really bizarre stuff that's associated with like Catholic cathedrals and all of these like really old relics and carvings and the buildings themselves.
Yeah,
It's really esoteric. It's
yeah. I was about
really
to say
weird stuff.
that's the exact adjective I would describe it as, is like super
Yeah.
esoteric seeming.
There's nothing like that in the United States, like ever. You don't find anything that weird.
Yeah, and we just don't have the requisite time for it either. I
No,
mean,
for sure.
it's interesting because there was that time period. I think was it 18 well, what was the era of the transcendentalists
In the United
in the
States?
US? It was like Thoreau and that whole like that
Oh
cuz that
yeah.
was mysticism. That was like American mysticism, but
Right.
it wasn't associated with materialism. So they didn't have a bunch of wealth and like did they build esoteric
I
stuff?
don't think so. No. I mean, there's tons of like Masonic temples that kind of have some interesting architectural motifs and stuff, but
Yeah.
nothing like what you'd see in Europe. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's just the time. The U.S. isn't old enough, and there were people that would have the inclination to construct things like that, but maybe not the funding for it. So the history of the Catholic Church in Europe has been like enough resources to undergo these grand constructions. So the Sagrada Familia, for example, the reason why it's taken so long is because they're building it based on money that's donated for that cause. It's not money that's collected, and it's been really slow that's my understanding, at least
Mm-hmm.
from what I read.
That's my understanding too. Yeah, and it is interesting. I mean, I love grand architecture. It was when I was thinking about different things to do for a profession when I was in high school. Architecture was certainly something I considered because it just really appeals to me. But the interesting thing is, I think a lot of architectural ideas, the most grand ideas, maybe this actually is a similar concept in other kinds of artistry, like musicians and stuff, but some of the like more cerebral or visionary ideas in architecture are so impractical seeming that there's no funding to do it basically. Like
Right,
you have Buckminster Fuller that invented the geodesic dome, and he wanted to build these. He had this whole idea how you could build something that was lighter than air so that it would actually levitate itself. You had to use certain types of metals and stuff that he had determined. He never got to build any of that stuff because he didn't have funding to do it. Um,
right,
and then when I went to Valencia and saw that city of arts and sciences, that thing basically bankrupted Valencia for like
wow,
decades. It cost so they put so much money into it through like taxes and stuff. It actually bankrupted the city while they were building it, and only now after I don't know how many decades they had to break even. Now it's the biggest revenue maker for their city. But someone had to be visionary enough to be like, okay, this is going to be a losing game for like maybe even 100 years, but eventually it'll bring in revenue.
right.
And that's not something that appeals to a business person.
No. Well, and great works like that don't usually get undertaken now, or if they do, it's isolated incidents. There isn't like an organizing body to undergo
Yeah.
like works of that scale.
Hey, I gotta take this. This is Burton. This is Burton. It's called.
Oh, okay.
So one
All right.
second, I'll be right back. I'll put it on the thumbnail. BRB.
Okay.
Hey Burton.
Hey Daniel, what's up, man?
How's it going, man?
Doing good. I'm sitting in your
Okay, cool.
Hello.
Hello.
Is there anyone still there? I know Ruby TV Vlog is there. Hey, I apologize for that. I have a guest here that I had to um, interact with in physicality. So, but shout out to Ruby TV Vlog and anyone else that's watching at the moment. We're just having a conversation here about some of our experience in Barcelona and in Spain doing the Santiago de the Camino de Santiago. And yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I think we were discussing the Sagrada, and you were really surprised by that, as well as Park Güell and the other Gaudi architecture. And we talked about the city having sort of a chill atmosphere and the connection to like the artistic culture that's been there. So, oh yeah, we talked about the water being like crystal clear.
Yeah, that was cool.
Other than that, does anything come to mind about
Well, if I went back, I would want to see some flamenco and some like maybe salsa dancing. Because we didn't see any live music while we were there. At least not in
no, and
our
that's
place.
that really is kind of too bad.
Yeah, so it's one thing the city's known for.
Yeah. And so, yeah, going to Montserrat, we mentioned, would be a cool thing if you went back. One thing that's kind of like, this is not like grand and cultured or something necessarily, but I was bummed that I didn't see the laser light show in that huge fountain that's outside of that art museum.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
I didn't even hear about that except for when you said it after the fact.
No, I don't know if it's cool, but ever since I was a kid, I was just always obsessed with things that look trippy, like
Right.
any type of weird lights and lasers and stuff. And apparently, practically every night in the summer, and by night they mean night, like it's gonna be 10 or 11. It's gonna be like 10:30 or 11 probably because it gets
Right.
dark so late. They like animate those fountains.
Oh, that's
And,
cool.
I was joking about that with Rusty too. It's like, oh, of course in Europe, like the art museum would be in an actual like palace. I mean, the place is a freaking palace, and there's just an enormous fountain, and then like just random huge pillars that are not holding anything
Oh.
up, just like huge pillars.
Was the building close to where we first got off the bus, where like the airport bus let us off?
I think
And
so.
that guy Sean from the plane got off there too, and then he went his way.
I think
Was it
so.
that plaza? Okay, and there was a bullfighting arena close to there as well.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's hard to remember because it was such a whirlwind first going into Barcelona, and I had nothing to compare anything to. I didn't have my bearings.
Right,
So
right.
everything looked so wild, I can't quite remember if that's where we got off.
We were really jet lagged too. It always is really brutal going to Europe, and then going to Asia is even worse because it's like 15 hours different sometimes. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh, and then the last thing that surprised me was how dark it got. You mentioned it getting dark. It wouldn't get fully dark until like 11 p.m., which is
Yeah.
crazy.
It
And
really was insane.
yeah, I loved it. I mean, like in Tennessee now that daylight savings has ended, it's dark at like 4:30, and it's going to be like that until
I
like
know.
March, which is so brutal. But Spain was kind of the perfect amount of daylight because it wouldn't
Yeah.
get light super late. It would get light at like 6 a.m.
No,
So it would
that's
just
what was
be light,
wild. It's
like
like
yeah, like 16 hours a day.
now the downside to that was kind of this like neurotic part of, I call it the neurotic aspect of the pilgrim culture, where people are
Yeah.
like burning the candle at both ends. Well, actually no, they're better at falling asleep than me. So I think
Yeah.
they took naps in the afternoon, which I couldn't do. So, but there's so much light, it makes you like kind of almost not sleep. Not
Oh
to
yeah.
the extent of being like in Alaska or somewhere where it's really extreme, but like, yeah. It was cool. Overall, I would consider it a plus. Like, um, how would you say the time went, like, as you were there? do you feel like it was time dilation as you were there, or and did it normalize, or what was like?
Well,
How did you
it
experience
felt
that?
it felt like time dilation when I did that Portuguese Camino. Since we were doing a similar type trip, I was kind of familiar with a lot of the aspects of it. So it didn't actually have that typical effect of a vacation having like a time stretching effect. But I think it's
Hmm.
just because we were doing something that I had done before, even though it was a different walk, and a lot of the things we were doing were familiar. So there was context for it. I mean,
Yeah,
certainly by the end of the trip, it felt like a long time had passed because it was like over 5 weeks. Having like a time
yeah. I remember
But
both of
yeah,
us had that experience towards the end. It's like
oh yeah,
this
for sure,
has been so long.
definitely.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really have that like time stretch effect on this trip,
That's
particularly.
fascinating. I wonder if I'd have something similar occur if I go back, because I'm very interested in doing that unknown French Camino that
Oh yeah,
ends at Saint Jean.
I want to
Um,
do that too, for sure.
yeah, because I'd like to go camping in a lot of. That would be cool. Like, it's honestly, it would still be, even if you were mostly camping, it would still be in between the desolateness of doing the Appalachian Trail, because you're going through towns all the time. So even if you were camping, you'd be constantly going through towns. Like, it would not be difficult to get your rations.
No, it'd be
And
great. Basically, like you would just eat dinner in the town that most people are staying at the albergue, and then just walk another 5 kilometers or something and find a place to camp.
yeah.
And that would work perfectly.
So another question would be, how was your experience of Spanish food?
Oh yeah. Okay, so in Barcelona it was good, but in a bunch of the other places, which it will be clear in the blog because I'm sure we're complaining about it in future videos, the food got really bland.
It's
But hey, if Barcelona was my only metric, then it was great. That first place we went, where I got like a seafood soup and you got paella, they were both really good.
maybe we're both future diplomats or future politicians, because I had the same exact response when Rusty asked me that question. I was like, oh, in Barcelona it was good.
Right. I mean, I don't want to bash on something that I actually don't know everything about. I just know
Hmm.
that we went through a lot of places, and a lot of places had really bland food. But if you go out into the middle of the United States, you're going to find some bland food too.
I
And
think it's
like,
very similar. Yeah.
if you're in a
And
big city in the States, you can get great food. Um, although if you're in a big city anywhere, you kind of can get good food.
it really, I don't know what that comes from, but I think the question I kept asking was like, because I kept eating that wild fennel along the trail, and I was like, why don't they, like, this is abundant everywhere, why don't they like use the wild, pick the fennel and like use that herb in it? And the thing is that we had a very biased experience of that food, and a lot of the towns we're going through, they're not even real towns, they only exist because of the Camino. And
Oh yeah.
so it's very basic type of rations. And so I would bet that a lot of Spanish home cooking is amazing. Like,
Oh, I'm sure it
and a
is. Yeah.
lot more, love and care and stuff. The equivalent of what we were stopping at was like the equivalent of like a coffee shop or a little diner, stuff like that.
Right, right.
If you.
I actually did like a lot of the times we would get lamb or something like that. Lamb stew is generally quite good over there.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just that we kept getting the same things that were really boring to eat, like those tortillas, but they're not like what you think of as tortilla, but it's like an omelet with a bunch of giant potato pieces.
It's
Those were
literally.
so boring.
It's called a tortilla, which is confusing
Yeah.
because tortilla in Mexico is obviously a tortilla, but tortilla in Spain, it's an omelet, quote unquote omelet, but it's just egg and potato and salt. I mean, that's it. That's like
Yeah, it
all
never
that's
had
in it.
anything else
No
in it.
herbs, no onions, like
Yeah.
no nothing. It's just that's tortilla, and then it's microwaved, so it's like
Yeah, because it's pre-prepared.
Yeah.
So there were some definitely like objective negative aspects to the food. But I think that that was largely because of the nature of walking through a bunch of places. Um,
Yeah, I would never make a pronouncement on a whole culture about their food when obviously you're getting a very biased, specific experience, doing something where you're kind of roughing it anyway,
right, right.
you know, and there were
Uh,
yeah. There were a lot of
compare,
times where we got good stuff. It just was kind of here and there.
oh yeah. And to be able to eat restaurant food while doing a long hike like that is super awesome. And
Mm.
there aren't that many places in the world that you can do that. To have like a really long hike, like hundreds of miles, where you're eating restaurant food for every meal, that's not that common. So that
Yeah.
that was awesome. Even if some of the food is bland, it's really nice to be able to eat like an actual hot meal. Because yeah, long distance hiking in the U.S. is so brutal. You just have to carry everything, and you have to eat horrible things out of your backpack like ramen and spam and whatever. Yeah, I like ramen,
Yeah.
but as far as like healthy stuff, you have to carry just whatever has the most calories. So doing this type of thing in Spain or in Portugal is actually really luxurious.
Yeah, it was, and uh since I just fully embraced the having a way too heavy of a pack life, I mean,
Yeah, you're
I
back.
was able to just have these ridiculously heavy glass jars of jarred vegetables always in my pack. So, I mean,
Yeah, we ate so many jarred vegetables.
only at the end of the trip did I really start getting sick of those jarred veggies, because they
Yeah.
have that interesting veggie. What was it called? Cardo.
Oh, Cardo was great. Yeah.
Yeah, cardo. It's like it tastes like art. It's like tastes like a mix between artichoke and celery, but it
Yeah.
tastes
It's
really
great.
really good. But it has to be like parboiled, and like they have to peel off this inedible stuff. Like it's really difficult to cultivate and prepare apparently.
Yeah, and like the reason we're eating out of jars and stuff, legitimate complaint about Spanish food, not enough vegetables. It would be way too meat heavy and meat and bread
Meat and
and wine.
bread and
Yeah.
cheese
And it's like
and
everyone, all the
wine.
people that
Yeah.
were hiking like wanted vegetables. So we would just buy these jars of vegetables at the grocery store. I
my
was like,
yeah my trail meals started being like a jar of vegetables and
and a
like
bunch of
2 cans
sardines.
of sardines, stuff like that. Or sometimes I would eat like chorizo, and then we got. I wonder how good. I wonder how well I can do the editing on some of that um cooking footage that we got.
Oh yeah,
Can make
that
like
would
a
be great.
cooking with DPend.
When we cooked, it was amazing, and we had that black garlic and sahagun, I think. That dish was really good.
You
Remember
know,
that guy?
yeah,
What kept wanting? He was like coveting our pasta. He kept saying, that smells so good," but he never asked for it, and he never was like in the same room we were, so we didn't like offer it. But
yeah.
he
I would have
kept coveting that
I would have
pasta.
given him some if he but he kept commenting how good it was, and he would even be like, "Man, y'all are killing me with that smell of that."
Yeah, that was amazing.
And
And then I cooked really good spaghetti one time, but cooking always felt like super triumphant because then we could eat whatever we wanted.
yeah, and the grocery prices are significant, especially now. My God, with the inflation that's going on over here. But
Hmm.
even then, the prices of groceries and stuff were always awesome.
My favorite thing about the eating culture was that they would just bring you a bottle of wine and it would be included with the meal, and that happened so often. And the
Yeah.
first time I was like, "No, no wine," and the guy's just grinning and laughing. Like I guess they'll be in the next video or whatever. Probably
Mm,
talk about it. But
yeah.
this guy's cracking up, and he leaves the wine there, and I didn't drink it because I thought you'd get charged for it.
That is
Uh,
super wild. And yeah, we both thought like, oh, surely that's like a scam. Like they bring you the wine, and then if you
yeah.
drink it, they charge you. But there's this hilarious tradition in a lot of the places. There's menu for peregrinos or pilgrims, and you can eat for a certain set price. Usually it's like quite cheap. I mean, it'll be like 10 euro, or maybe a bit more if it's a little bit more elaborate, and you get it's like a course meal. And coursed meals are actually cool because instead of getting all this food at once, you get it one by one, and so you can just eat that thing. And then on the menu it says agua o vino, like water or wine. So you don't get water and wine. You just get to pick, hey, do you want water or wine? And if you choose wine with that menu, you get a huge, well, not a huge, but you get a whole bottle of wine that's included in that like 10 or 12 euro price. And obviously I don't drink, so it's not a plus for me, but if you do, then it's pretty insane, because over here, I mean, you'd spend more than 10 or 12 euro for the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay for the meal.
Like a glass of wine. So getting a bottle of wine, that was just crazy. And I bet if you drank the bottle, they would bring you a second bottle. That's what it was. That was kind of a goal that I had, and I didn't ever succeed. I never drank the whole bottle.
Well, that's probably good for your health that you didn't. Hey, Jerwayne TV, long time no see. Yo, Jerwayne, what's going on? This is my friend Ethan. We're just talking about some of our Spain experience here. We've been on the stream for a bit, so not going to be too much longer. Hey, I like I like that emoji. Is that your like special Jerwayne TV? He has like a purple peace sign.
Is it in the feed?
Mm-hmm.
Pull it up.
I'm not special anymore. I got my emoji privileges taken away since I didn't post on my channel for too long, so. But I think we'll be right back in it pretty soon here. Not
it doesn't let you post emojis anymore.
No, and in all the past live streams.
Wait, really?
Huh?
That's a real thing?
What's a real thing?
That you can't post emojis?
Oh no, I can't do I used to have like DPend emojis.
Oh, you had your own emojis.
And like people who are members can use your emotes in chat. But if you go to any of my past streams, all of the emotes are just like random text now. It doesn't display them because I got my membership capacities revoked due to being too inactive for too long.
So it retroactively eliminated the emojis.
I think I think my channel is in a weird purgatorial state because it knows that I was partnered before, and so it recognized, like, I think that when I hit the watch time amount and stuff, I'll probably get reinstated immediately. Like, they'll probably just do a cursory glance at my channel to be like, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, okay, accepted. So like I can actually navigate to where membership stuff is, and I can see the stuff. It's all grayed out, but I can I can still see some of the like info there.
Right. Yeah, you got to get the emojis back.
I know, do it for the emojis. Who cares about the other stuff? Like, I just need my emojis so I can satisfy my own narcissism and have my own face plastered on everything. What if my emotes were just like, just like 10 different versions of my own face?
It should be a clip from that one video that you have not on your main channel. That really good.
Dude, I couldn't it's called Is This Thing On? And I made this channel called DPTV, and that's the only thing on it. And it's really memey and like super glitch distorted music. And I couldn't even find it. You can't even find that video if you try to search for it. I can't. But
could you go to that channel, DPend TV?
I couldn't find it. Like,
maybe it doesn't exist anymore.
I'm like, wait, did it get deleted because YouTube's like too disturbed by that video?
That's what you should screen grab for the emoji, though, for sure.
Nice, some of those expressions, yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, I guess we could really wrap it up. I guess the last thing to to ask, at least about Barcelona, because I figured that we'll probably chat in the future. I think it's gonna take me months on end, maybe even a year to edit and release our whole Camino. So we can chat at a later period of time more in depth about like the Camino experience and what you got from that. But what would you say what was your overall takeaway from your experience in Barcelona, like seeing the Sagrada, and then it's a unique experience because it was our first impression of that trip, and then it was the last thing that we saw as well, and that's when we both got to go into the interior of the Sagrada. And I know for me that was like, this is the most glorious, amazing building I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, so given that it was like that unique thing where it was the beginning and the end, like what was your overall takeaway from the city as a whole?
Yeah, Barcelona is probably my favorite city that I've seen in Spain. My actual favorite stuff in Spain is usually the landscape and like maybe the collectively the cathedrals as a whole, and the history of that goes behind them. But Barcelona was awesome. It's my favorite city that in Spain because you've got the ocean and the beach there, which actually was really nice and like well maintained. You've got the really weird Gaudi architecture and just the Gothic quarter, which our hostel is like kind of in the Gothic quarter right next to it, is this super cool network of alleyways. And you saw some of it in the video, really narrow, where like people are living in these really cool apartments above these pedestrian walkways. So cool. And it was really cool to see it from the air and fly the drone around. So you've got Gothic Quarter, you've got the crazy architecture of Gaudi, you got the beach and the artistic vibe overall. So yeah, it combined to form like a really cool, great port of entry and exit for that trip, definitely.
Yeah.
You couldn't pick a better city to like book in that trip, I think at least.
Agreed. And I feel like I got so lucky to have Barcelona be my first impression of Europe as a whole.
It's a good first place, yeah. I mean, I haven't been that many places in Europe, but of where I've been, it's my favorite.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, anything else that you want to say about your experience in Barcelona that we haven't touched on?
I think that sums it up. I'm sad that I missed the flamenco. I will be back at some point and go to that monastery, Montserrat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that pretty much covers it. It's an awesome place.
For sure. Yeah, so if you're watching this video in the future, definitely leave it in a comment. Have you been to Barcelona before? And if so, what was your favorite thing about the experience? And maybe what was your least favorite thing too? Although I didn't really have a big negative impression from it, but hey, let me know if you had some unfavorable part of the experience. And if you have never been there, then let me know. Does it sound like a place that you'd be interested in going? Or maybe based on extra points if you actually watched our vlog and saw some of it, like did that entice you to want to go there? And yeah, I think that's about it for now. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching this, and a huge thank you to you, Ethan, for coming on and having this convo, because it was super fun. And I know everyone's gonna be excited to be able to see a little bit more about the man, the myth, the legend that they've seen in these vlogs, like Mammoth Cave.
That's right. You got to unveil that mystery.
Because they what they know is they just like this guy, and he's like, Mammoth Cave.
Yeah, I don't know if I've built the best legacy for my appearance in those videos.
I'm ready to explore Barcelona.
Yeah, that's right. My sound bites are not 100%.
No, dude, they're perfect. There's so many goof ones that are, dude, oh my god.
The sunglasses are going to be amazing in future videos. I had these ridiculous like sunglasses that fit over my prescription glasses. Ordered them on Amazon and didn't know what they're going to look like until they arrived. Terrible.
I remember
they look terrible.
You shouldn't have complained about the style of them, because as soon as you started complaining, being like, oh, these are like dad glasses, I hate these so much, I was like, I'm going to film these so much now.
No, they're gonna look great in the video, but only as like a you make fun of me for.
There's that clip. One of the clips that I remember is like you going, man, man. It's like a super close up of you. It's like, man cannot live on bread alone.
I remember that.
And then you start eating your what's it called? Like
Uh,
the bocadillo.
oh yeah, bocadillo, because we kept eating so much bread. I can't wait to see that clip, man. That's really
Oh
funny.
my god, yeah. Cool, man.
And yeah, I'll jump on for another live stream. This has been fun for sure.
Yeah, I need to get my setup. Well, I basically just need to buy a TV, and from the looks of it, I also need. Wait, well, we could use your TV, but then I have to set this thing up too. But
Yeah, we
because it would be fun to, it would be hilarious to stream like Mario Party or something.
Oh, that would be
Especially if
fun.
we got 4 people. I
That
mean,
would be
it might be a little bit chaotic, but I think it would be hilarious if we.
absolutely.
It's like 2022. What's cutting edge? Is it Cyberpunk 2024? Is it all these hyper futuristic games? No, the future is Mario Party on
Everyone
GameCube.
likes
Mario Party 7. I'm saying it right here, right now. That is the next big trend on YouTube, and you know, someone has to be a trailblazer and start these trends.
Yeah, and yeah, it's been too long. We got to get a Mario Party session going.
Cool, man.
Hey, if Sunday works out, I will play Mario Party then.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, I actually
So if
came up.
anyone's watching, it's not there.
I don't know if this Elgato capture card that I have works on GameCube.
Yeah, you
But
could look
it would
into
be difficult. We'd have to put the TV on the edge of my desk and then connect the the capture card. It goes in, and yeah,
Yeah.
this is still on a live stream, so I don't know why we're talking about this, but it doesn't matter. There's like, oh, loves you, long time no see, or long time no talk. How are you? This is my friend Ethan here. We're kind of finishing up the stream here. So we're talking about adult
Mario.
adult things, like playing Mario Party. But anyway, you have this capture card, and it's actually right here. It's plugged into stuff, but like it's HDMI. The HDMI of the console goes in, and then the other HDMI goes into the TV, and then there's this other plug that I think it's a USB-C that goes into your computer.
Oh, okay.
And then eventually you route it from one program into OBS, and then you have the feed of it. So I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if we'll be able to, if it takes a bunch of time to, but I might actually try it just for fun.
Yeah, it could work.
But yeah, hey, I was going to mention that I actually came up with some quintal ideas, and it's actually on a track that I was not a track, but it could be a track that I was messing around with on piano like 2 nights ago that sounds very Spanish. It has a very Spanish chord progression, and
Cool.
it's all quintal ideas
Nice.
mixed with other melodic stuff. But that's the first time I really had an idea of like a quintal sounding thing that didn't sound kind of contrived.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to hear that. Maybe we can jam on it a bit.
Because I was wanting to like mess around with some stuff that we could play on Sunday if that still ends up working.
Yeah, I'm down for sure. Let's do it.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I was considering. Loves you says hello, friend. Loves you is one of my Filipino friends.
Oh, nice.
Fellow
That's cool.
YouTubers here. I was considering like doing a pretty long stream tonight, but what I was debating is if I might just end this one and then restart a new stream.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah, that works.
I was gonna do something unrelated to this.
Cool. Well, then I will let you go. And
Awesome.
yeah, it was great doing the stream. And then I'll keep in touch about Sunday. But let's definitely hang out if you want to.
Cool. Yeah, that would honestly make my whole life if we would stream GameCube Mario Party.
That would be cool.
That's like the dumbest thing ever for two like 30 plus year old people to do. But
figure it out. We'll do it.
that's what makes it cool. Imagine like 6 months later, you open up YouTube and everything you see, it's just Mario Party 7. Like that, that becomes the meta for.
That's what would happen too, for sure.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Well, cool. Well, then I'll let you go, man. But have a good one, and yeah, I'll keep in touch about this weekend.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, I'll see you later, dude.
And anyone else watching? See ya.
Bye. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna actually stay on the stream. Let me see. Where am I set up? Let's see. And I mean, I know that now the stream. Oh, I think I disconnected. Have a good night to friend. That's right. Yeah, it's not too late here yet. It's like 10 p.m. But listen while having lunch. Yeah, the classic Philippines time difference there. But yeah, I was considering on doing kind of a long stream tonight because I was going back and I watched some of the stuff that we did before, and it got me nostalgic. And I was like, man, like that time period that I was doing like 6 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour live streams. It actually was really fun, and I kind of missed that. So I just need to do the grind of figuring out some of the technological stuff and hit the gritty on hood. Bruh, I'm not even cool enough to know what that means. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to do, just stream, not exceed 12. I thought it was 10. Isn't it 10 hours, loves? Because I did that keyboard improv stream that was like over 10 hours, and I think it like disappeared. But yeah, those channels are hilarious that stream like stuff for years. Y'all have probably seen those channels. It's like cool lo-fi beats to study to, and it's like the stream has been live continuously for like 2 years. It's real. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think I have a good way to have background music integrated. I feel like it's gonna be too distracting while having a convo. But let me see. I think I need to. Give me 1 second. Check. Okay. Wait, I think that's actually gonna work. I think that works. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm so satisfied by the simplest thing. Getting my audio to work properly. I'm so satisfied by the simplest thing. Getting my audio to work properly. I'm so satisfied by the simplest thing. Oh my god, it's gonna echo. Wait, but yeah, you can't actually hear. Oh, it's because it's muted. Brilliant. Super brilliant. Let me see. Is the music coming through? Alright, sick. Everything's all good, right? Yeah, the plants are real. Let me see. Here's my other plants. Actually can't really show them all, but I just saved them from a certain doom outside. I had them outside, but the weather is so horrendous now. It's like freezing every day. So apparently I'm a plantito. My Filipino friends told me that I'm a plantito, which is a guy who loves plants. Carrie, I need a yeah. See, he loves Unos. Plantito. But the saddest I ever was about a plant dying, because if you are into gardening and plants, you know one thing is a given fact, which is that you will end up killing plants. Like, you just can't help it. They won't always survive due to your incompetence and due to other factors you can't control. But the saddest I ever was with one of my plants dying, if you go back to my older streams, you can see this. I had this huge, amazing culinary lavender plant. Like, it's edible. Like, people think of the lavender flowers usually, but in French cuisine they use the green leaves of the lavender, and it has a little bit less bitter taste. I really like the taste of the lavender leaves. And I had this huge, amazing lavender plant that like lived through everything. It was the healthiest plant I ever had, and I was really distraught when it died. I was like, I have failed my dearest chlorophyllic friend. But yeah, I really should bring my OG cactus in here. Maybe I'll do that now, because I don't really know. Yeah, big sad, Maine. Big sad. Like an aloe vera. Yeah. Let me get the cactus. Like, this can just be a cactus stream. My bad. Oh, you couldn't hear me. What I was saying was, it's my OG cactus, boy. Weja TV or Weha, however you say it. Welcome. I promise I'm not that out of shape, but it's a pretty heavy cactus. I just ran up the stairs with it. Shout out to you, Weha TV or Weja. Is it Weha or Weja? Yeah, that's huge. That's huge plant. The show. Oh, that was actually tiring. Not gonna lie. Like I said, I promise I'm in shape. Don't worry about it. That cactus is goated with the sauce. I agree. The one thing I always think about with that cactus, I'm like, it is gonna get big enough to the point to where you can't move it. So that would be cool if I lived somewhere. I've actually always been curious to live in a semi desert region, like a semi-arid region, like New Mexico, Arizona or something. That's why it was cool to go. One reason why it was cool to go to Spain. If I could live in the desert, I could plant it in the ground and it'd probably it'd become like a cactus tree. Shout out to Waja TV, Jay, Ruby TV Vlog loves you. Y'all could share your projects that you're working on if you want to. Share it in the chat. Connect with each other. Support each other. You know, us small YouTubers, we have to stick together. But yeah, Jay, I was trying to find I need to actually save the link of your... Let me just do this real quick. Oh, I already subscribed. But I was trying to find your channel and then I couldn't. Turn notifications on. Nice, you got some new posts. That's what's up.
I have plans and I cannot shoot.
This is cool, man. What do you make these, what do you make this with? Jay? The one that says 2K plus QHD plus color correction. Is that like an animation that you made, or is it like something that you modified from an anime or something like that? That looks really cool. I really dig that. Yeah, everybody here, wait. Hold on. Oh, bro. Oh. Let me... Hold up. A quality test? That's cool. It's still dope though, and like that's still valid. Like, I mean, a lot of the footage that I got in Spain, like, yeah, I got some cool stuff in some of the times, but I mean, I'm filming with my iPhone. It's not, you know, it's all right. But anyway, the biggest thing is just to like get. Wait, is this link work? All right, everybody go connect to Jay. I put the link. I pinned the link because he has 5 subscribers. We gotta support. Anyway, let me go back to the chat. Whoop. But yeah, I already mentioned this last week. I'm gonna stream every Friday. It might be a little bit earlier at times. That shirt go hard on you. Appreciate it, bro. I did it on a Chromebook using a light motion. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. But yeah. I just feel like there's a long, maybe not as long of a grinding period as there is with other skills. Like if you want to be pro, for instance, at like playing piano or like something, I mean, it's gonna be a long time until you're really pro. But I mean, for video editing, I don't I don't think it's nearly as what's it called, demanding as certain things to get to a legit level. But there still is a lot of paying your dues that you have to do. Especially, it depends on what you want to do with video. Wait till TV, Jay's 6th subscriber. thank you for that. And for me, I want to like have a good variety of stuff I can do. And like, there's just a lot of times of the stuff that you're doing is really tedious. Like, recently I downloaded my lips are really chapped right now. I need to go get some chapstick. Because it's so cold outside, I'm not used to it. What was I saying? Anyway, I was just trying to download the interview that I had with Rusty the other day and make it into a video, and then really simple things end up taking forever. So yeah, you just have to grind it out in the different formats that you want to edit. And in the past, I did a lot of stuff where I would put like really heavy effects and like super trippy, insane stuff happening, and just have to work on a bunch of stuff. Like these days I have a more minimal approach, and I eventually realized that a lot of the stuff that was fun for me to make and for me to watch, because I like really busy and trippy and crazy stuff happening, wasn't necessarily what most other people would want to see. And I didn't have a more minimal approach at this time period, but yeah. I'm pretty excited just because I think I've found a little bit of a rhythm that I can sustain. I mean, just stream at least once a week. If I could up it, like if I could do some gaming streams and stuff like that, stuff that's just chill and different, then I can do more. I want to have streams where, I don't know if I would do like channel reviews, but I can have streams where I like kind of look at, yeah, gaming stream is a dub. Although I don't know if people will like my gaming choice, because when I play games, like I go ham and I just stick to that game. And for some reason I'm obsessed with Splatoon 3. I was really obsessed with Splatoon 2 like around the time the Nintendo Switch came out, and I got it because I just don't like play a lot of modern games. Like I rather play quirky games. Like I don't care if it's considered a kid's game, but it's like a lot more creative of a shooter than most shooters. Like I like the aspect of having to ink the domain that you swim around in, and I think the weapons are actually more creative than, like, I don't want to play some like trash I mean, it's just my opinion, but I don't want to play some like trash Call of Duty, or like I'm just sick of the traditional shooters. So, but before Splatoon 3, I was obsessed. I literally was just obsessed with StarCraft 2, which is the 10-year-old game. And then before that, I was obsessed with literally just playing chess. And then before that, I quit gaming. There was a long time period that I quit gaming because I was wasting all my time. Like literally, I was wasting all my time playing games and not doing anything else. But yeah. I've tried it before. I tried streaming Splatoon like a little bit in 2016 or something like that on a random Twitch that I never used again. But I think for a while I was like, why would I stream on this channel? Like it doesn't fit in with what I'm doing. It doesn't seem like it fit in with like poetry. And I don't know. I was like, how does that make sense? But at the end of the day, the main decision I made with this channel is I don't really care how random the content is. I'm just gonna do what I enjoy doing, and that's it. All the CODs since COD 3 are an L. Yeah, I mean, I don't even really know. I'm just not. I mean, I grew up a gamer. I've been a gamer since I was a little kid. But there's always been an unhealthy aspect to it. Like, my parents can tell you that like they would always have to limit how much I would game, and I would freaking straight up rage. I would throw like a huge rage tantrum just to not be able to play. Like I would have spent all my, I would even in middle school I would like secretly set my alarm, and I would wake up and play I would wake up in the middle of the night and play Resident Evil, because Resident Evil was like one of the sickest games that was on GameCube. And it was really weird too, because there's generally not that kind of like dark game that's on. And I don't even like horror stuff. Like I hate those type of movies and stuff, but that game was so good. Metroid Prime. Those are the two games that made the biggest impression on me from GameCube, I think. And then I had a 360, and I used to play Modern Warfare and Halo 3. And then there was a long time period, like in college and stuff, we would just play retro games because we thought it was cool. Like we would play N64, we would play N64 Smash, we would play, we would actually like play Super Nintendo. I remember getting obsessed with Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That's like one of the most frustrating games of all time on Super Nintendo, because if you die, you just straight up start up at the beginning. And that game is such a scam because when you go through the game, when you get to the final boss and you beat it, it just puts you at the back of the beginning of the game, and then you have to beat the whole game again. And you don't like get that many extra lives. I mean, like if you're done, you're done. And then once you get to the end of the game the second time, the boss is way, way harder. So you have no chance of like practicing against the boss and getting good at it. So you just like get all the way through the entire game twice in one sitting, and then you just get destroyed by the boss. But yeah, then I had like, I don't know. I've had a lot of years in my 20s where I just straight up quit games because I just have such an addictive personality. I'll get obsessed with practically anything. But yeah, I feel like I can balance it more now because I have more responsibilities and a more clear idea of like what I want to do. So gaming for me now is more like a reward at the end of the day, like end of a work day, rather than something that I would just spend all my time on. And it feels kind of healthy in that way. I think every kid in America is guilty of that. It's funny. Yo, do you still beatbox? Yeah, I do, like very intermittently. I haven't really done anything with it, but you're that guy. Now I remember, Jay. You were on that one stream boxing to beat. I think you challenged me to like beatbox for a certain period of time. I remember that stream pissed me off because I looked at it at the end and there was like a desync. There was either, I feel like there was a good amount of desync or delay, latency, because when I listened to the beatbox, it was like slightly off from the beat. So I don't know if it was something about like how that wasn't you? Okay. Yeah, I don't remember, man, to be honest. It's so weird. Like, I guess it wasn't that long ago, but it feels like a while ago. I think I just go through so many different phases in life that at times it's hard for me to relate with like what I was doing before. But I've kind of wanted to do beatboxing content, but I don't really know what to do with it. It would be kind of fun to do it on a stream, but I just, that one time that I tried it, you weren't in chat much, that's why. Yeah. When I tried it, I just had latency with the, because I didn't really want to just straight up beatbox with nothing else, because I don't have like pro routines and stuff like a lot of the other beatboxers. I've been always more on the side of like just using it to do different grooves and stuff. And one thing that's kind of difficult with beatbox is some of the techniques that sound the coolest are kind of like hard on your throat and stuff. Like, let's see, I'm gonna straight up probably embarrass myself, but let me see if I can hear myself back. Check. All right. Wow, is it like, oh, you know what, I need to figure out too. Oh, why is there a space designer? I was wanting to figure out with Logic Pro how I could actually do voice isolation so I can cut out some of the reverb that's in this room. But I don't know if that's built into, that's most likely not something that's built into, maybe it would be if I would update my Logic. Because I know Final Cut Pro now has voice isolation built into their software where you can just check it. It's like a built-in component. But yeah, like, I guess there's one throat technique that sounds really cool that I actually went to a beatboxing event in Atlanta and talked to some of the people that are like super pro and really good at some of these techniques, and they actually claimed that if you get really good at it, it shouldn't hurt your throat. But I don't know, like, I definitely feel like you can do some serious damage to your voice with beatboxing if you're not careful. But there's the that was one of my favorite techniques. So there are a lot of things that I learned, and I had a teacher that was just temporarily. Some of y'all might know that beatboxer D-Lo, which is always super funny that I go by DPend and he goes by D-Lo, and he's Dan Lowe and I'm literally Daniel Pendergraft. But anyway, that aside, he was my teacher for a while. I supported him on Patreon on one of the tiers where you could have lessons, and that was really helpful. And then I went to that beatboxing event in Atlanta, and that was sick to get some tips from people. But I just haven't really tried to make compositions or what they call like routines, but I know a lot of techniques. But yeah, like that whole technique is really cool. But I just don't, I haven't practiced it in forever. Leonila Rames, Miss Flawless in the chat. Hello, host. Hello, Leonila. ¿Cómo está acá? The one thing I noticed that goes away when I don't practice is like, because my embouchure is not actually trained right now. The that BMG spit snare, it's not really like tight, but yeah, I don't know. Okay lang ako, host, like nang time no see. Yeah, I'm gonna stream every week on Friday now, or Saturday for Philippines, but every week this time. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta just be more creative, and my goal is I'm gonna get a few weeks ahead, and like obviously during the holidays there's gonna be some times where I'm like rate Oreos 1 out of 10. Oh my god. Rate Oreos, I don't know, I don't like sugary processed food, so I rated it a 0. -1. Everything good in your place, Lenila? Huh. I think, what do you even need to do? I think you need to EQ it and compress it. Yeah, I just don't really practice it anymore. But I used to grind beatboxing like hours every day. I just never made like compositions. I know even my teacher, is that my new talent? It's kind of like old talent, I guess. Leonila, Miss Flawless. Leonila, Miss Flawless. Miss Flawless. I don't even know. And I used to do those fifths. I can't even keep them in tune anymore. I used to be able to do that stuff. I don't know. Plant man spitting fire. Soy un plantito. Soy un plantito. Soy un plantito para toda mi vida. Soy un plantito. Bruh. What even is this stream? Shout out to Leonila Haramis. Shout out to Loves You. Shout out to Ruby TV Vlog. And Jay. Everybody in the building. And everybody please go support Jay. Pinned above. I would really appreciate it. I had a lot of song ideas for like, but the hardest thing about beatboxing is like, I would say it's easy to create a beat that has a few just a few techniques. Right, so basic sounds. And most likely I can do beats for long periods of time that switch up some rhythms and stuff. Not as much as like a legit drummer that knows about paradiddles and knows about like different more advanced rhythms, but the hardest thing is actually incorporating singing and different melodic techniques and keeping the stuff in tune and mixing the techniques together in a smooth way. It's actually really challenging. I think it's one of the most difficult musical things you can do. And it's interesting too, because a lot of the techniques sound very goofy, especially to a non-beatboxer. Favorite brand of chips? I used to always buy blue corn chips. Late July was good. And what else? Xochitl. It was like a Mayan thing. It was like these really thin blue corn chips. They're good. Yeah. But yeah. How could I incorporate beatboxing, piano? Something very magical would happen. Piano plus beatbox, bro, is gonna start ascending into heaven. Man, that was an aspiration of mine for a while. I was really like, man, if I could like play piano plus beatbox, it would be so sick. And I just dabbled in it. I think it would take a lot of practice, but it would be so amazing. Because the problem is, at least when you're playing piano like the way that I approach it, you're doing a bass line and usually chords and maybe like a melody. So if you bring the beat on top of that, like you almost need two brains to do it. It's really, really hard. Tom suck again. Thank you, Leonela. Appreciate it. But yeah, I was just looking back on some of the old streams that I used to do, and I was really getting nostalgic about it. I was like, man, I need to stream again. So just starting slow, starting chill, doing these kind of streams where we just, kind of hang out. And I want to have more guests on as well, because I think that's pretty interesting content to kind of either have people interview me or me to kind of interview people, and just do more collabs and stuff like that. And then I can do some more music streams again. Like I can do some stuff with beatboxing and stuff with piano, and maybe like work on some tracks live. But honestly, just one of the things that kind of holds me back there is that I need to actually upgrade my skills when it comes to audio production. And I've never quite had that breakthrough where I actually like doing audio production that much. It's like, I don't understand why, but it feels really tedious to me. And doing video editing is tedious too, but it doesn't really annoy me for whatever reason. So yeah, I don't know. I can't learn everything. can't learn like 10 million skills all at once necessarily. I think I need to focus a little bit because I have the tendency to be very ADD at times, and I don't think it's really helpful for gaining momentum in something. But I don't know. Maybe I also could just let go of trying to be an expert in everything. Let go of trying to be perfect and just do it. Just do what's fun. So yeah, interesting content for sure. How is the cat? The cat be good. Both of the cats. I only showed one cat before. I can try to get the cat to I need to get some good samples. I need to get some good audio samples of some feline expressions. Let's see. She always like meows a million times, and then when I bring it to the mic, she doesn't meow.
Kitty. Yeah. What's that? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna be famous. Yeah, what do you think? What's your message to the world? What do you have to say? Yeah, I agree.
And what about you, old fellow?
What about you? Are you gonna say anything? Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true.
Alright.
Take your claw.
You have rabbit? Oh, that's cool. I always thought that would be interesting. You like having the rabbit, Leonila? I always wondered what it would be like to have a rabbit. Because they seem cool. It's kind of awkward though, because my pet eats your pet. Cats like the taste of rabbit. It's one of those awkward things. What's your rabbit's name, Lunilla? And have you ever pulled it out of the out of the hat? Lovely rabbit. That's cool. I'm gonna go back. I'd go back in the stream and see if any of those meows were good. I can sample that. Sample those feline noises. Baby Rab. Nice. Wait. Let me see. Let me see if I should switch the soundtrack. Oh wait, the music's not playing? Oh yeah, because I muted it from the for the cat. My bad. Let's see. Should we do this one? I should put other ones in here as well. Here, I'll do this one. I think this one has beatbox in it. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go bring in some stuff from my car. Yo, yo. What's up? Yo, I actually don't have this beat anywhere. Like, I didn't consider it finished. Cause, let me actually post this in the chat. If you're curious, I mean, I don't know how entertaining it is, but if you're curious, I actually made this, actually my buddy made the drums to this beat, and then I made all the bass and all the, I actually just improvised all of those parts. I actually did it live on stream, like, probably almost 2 years ago now. Can't believe it was that long. Here it is. This is when I was, like, obsessed with making these, like, bizarrely trippy thumbnails from Deep Dream Generator. Here it is, bruh. But, if you like that beat, I actually like that beat too. I wonder what type of video I could make with it. Isn't this it? Wonk sounds. Bruh, it's funny, like, oh, you can see my lavender plant, man. Oh, that's so sad. You could see the lavender plant in this stream. I had it right by my piano. You could tell that was my fave plant. It wasn't flowering right then. Very sad. But yeah, I actually made this on stream, on this stream that I just put in there. Yeah. I wonder what video I could actually put with this beat. Oh. I know it did look swaggy. It was like, I thought it was dope. It was like hanging over the piano. I just need to find a new one. It smells so good too, like having that lavender plant. Andy Greg Gomez. Hello DPend, how are you? I'm very good, my friend. Just staying warm inside. It's freezing outside. How are you? Long time no talk. All the OGs showed up in the chat today. So yeah, I'll take suggestions for anyone. Just put it in the comments. Tell me what kind of videos you want to see. Tell me what kind of streams you want to see. We can make music on stream with piano, with beatboxing, with singing. We can do video editing. We can do graphic design. I don't know. We can do we can do anything basically. Unless I don't know how to do it, then I'll have to learn how to do it, then we can do it. We can have gaming streams. What else? Oh yeah, I want to have guests on. Like I had my friend Ethan on today. Had my friend Rusty on. I want to do collabs, feature people, interview people. Basically the point of the stream is just to really create a community around people that have some overlapping interests in me, like creative stuff. I'm interested in every single kind of creative expression, basically. From music to visual art to video, film. I mean, hell, sculpture, like painting, anything, man. I'm into like AI art as well and futurism. So I mean, I don't really care. I don't want to niche down my. Can you make music for background music on your live stream? Yeah, I could. Actually, that would be interesting. Maybe I can make art. Oh wait, I'm trying to compute that with my peanut-sized brain to how that would actually work. I like that though. That's a cool idea. Or like kind of like switching between the two things, maybe. But Andy Greg, yeah, that would be cool. I should release some things because my main issue is I always think that my mixing skills, like, they're not up to par. I mean, I can't mix something to make it sound like stuff that's on the radio, but I guess that just goes with the whole trend of perfectionism is really something poisonous, man. Like, you just have to accept your limitations, I think, and work towards improving it. So yeah, I think that would be cool. I should release some stuff that I would let people use on their stream. So Andy Greg, are you friends with me on Facebook? Because I think that's the easiest way to DM me. It's the messenger I use the most, just Facebook. I don't like Facebook, but Facebook Messenger I use the most. So let me just drop this. Actually, I've done this before in streams. I really don't care. Some people that are creators are like really, they want to keep a lot of distance between their viewers and themselves. For me, I don't care. Like, hit me up. We can be friends personally. Like, I'm more interested in building something up. So, and if I don't respond, then just message me again. But Andy Greg, if you're still here, add me on Facebook if you don't, and then let's just chat, and maybe, yeah, I mean, I'd be open to the idea of making you some background music. Like, maybe you can just explain to me the type of stuff you're interested in, and I can stream, like, creating it. I don't know. All I know is I'm gonna stream at least once a week, but what the content is, it can be kind of dynamic. Jay said, bro, UK trap drill beat would go so hard. I know the style you're talking about. I actually think it is cool, but I don't even know. That would be fun to try and make. He just interviewed me about Spain a couple weeks ago. He's an insane producer and beat maker, man. And I used to collab with him in the past because I love rapping. Like, that's another musical thing that I'm really into. And I had a whole time period where I created these like kind of like esoteric raps with his beats, and I always think it's a shame that none of it's released. It's all in like an unfinished state, but he's kind of in a place in his life right now where he's going in a different direction, and he's really busy like with his career, and he has a really good job now and stuff that he likes doing as an NLP practitioner. But I'm waiting for the time that he sees where music can fit into what he's doing, because I just think he's one of the best, you know, one of my personal favorite musicians, because he has like just hundreds of beats and ambient tracks and different stuff, and like it's crazy. He can just make something within a few minutes that's just like, wow, that's freaking fire. Sounds so good. He actually took a course with mixing and mastering, that was like people that had been in the industry for years, that had worked on like, you know, projects that are on the radio and stuff. Like, they knew their stuff, and he would submit beats and then get feedback and then resubmit it. And I mean, I wish I had that level of skill, but the truth is I just don't have as much interest in putting in the time. What's my favorite genre of music? Probably hip hop. Oh, if I had an overall favorite. But like hip hop, R&B, Motown, soul. I like so much, but everything that's kind of like in a jazzy vein. Because I like music with weird harmonies and stuff like that. But what was I gonna say? When I was a kid, I was obsessed with rock music, like alternative and screamo. Obviously, was huge. Emo, post-hardcore, all that kind of stuff is what I grew up on. But when I was a teenager, I kind of started getting more into like. I started becoming a hippie a little bit, and I got into Bob Marley and I got super into Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. But I still hadn't really heard like a lot of classic music, classic American music. And then I went to school for jazz piano, and I learned about all the different decades of American music, like from bebop, like all the way from the 1800s and how it developed. And I've always just had a resonance for old music and I guess what's traditionally thought of as black music. I just like music with rhythm and soul and vibe and stuff like that. I mean, and for a while I went through a period where I was kind of hipster and I was really like against pop music and I didn't like pop music. The other funny thing is I was in a country band. So like I thought I hated country, then I was in a country band and I grew to like classic country and stuff like that. But my like gut favorite, what resonates the most with me is I mean, when I was growing up, like when I was in 6th grade, middle school, high school and stuff, I listened to rap too. Like I remember I was obsessed with Lil Wayne back in the day, but we're talking like 2007, right? Lil Wayne was on top of the world, Wheezy. I listened one summer, I learned like every single lyric to The Chronic by Dr. Dre, you know, so I love Dre and Snoop Dogg and stuff like that. I like everything, but my biggest issue with rap, honestly, is like just the subject matter, like kind of the culture around it. I mean, I could still respect it, but I think, you know, it has kind of like a comical component, but I could never rap about that, the type of stuff that's in most rap, because first of all, it'd be stupid to, because it's not my actual experience. But the whole idea of like proving your ego and like bravado and stuff is kind of like childish to me. But I still like it. It's still funny and stuff to listen to, but I really like, one of my favorite rappers is Kool Keith, aka Dr. Octagon. Like sci-fi weird rap, and he has like an unconventional pocket. But I mean, a perfect example is like Eminem. I mean, like he's the OG when it comes to technical rap, but when it's like, and a lot of the stuff he says is funny, but it's not really like, there's not really any substantial meaning to most of what he's saying. There's really no legitimate message behind it. So but I had some funny stuff. I had some like hooks and stuff that I thought was pretty okay. And I even, like, when I started hearing about Harry Mack and stuff like that, I tried to grind freestyling for a while too. I think I just freestyled like every day for like 30 minutes for maybe like 2 weeks. And I was shocked how like quickly you can gain skill in it. So for sure, if you freestyle every single day, man, you can get to that point. I just think, like, for me, the way that I look at hip hop and why I like it is, to me, it's poetry with melody and rhythm. Because I used to write a lot of poetry, verse poetry and stuff like that, and I feel like there's just so much more potential for hip hop, what it could be, than the way that it's expressed now. But that goes with not just that, but any aspect of human culture. So where we're at as a species, like there's so much more potential that we could unlock. What are these emotes, by the way? Like hand pink waving. Like, is this new YouTube emotes? Wait, what? This is new. Bruh, wait. What is all this? There's like... What is this, man? I'm so confused. Where my pink hand emoji at? It's there, dog. It's right her. Well, like, the bigger question to me is why is there a pink hand emoji? I'm just so confused. Is this like a hand after you like stick your hand in the oven? Your hand's like crisped. It's like it's the 3rd degree burn emoji. What are these emotes, man? These things be creepy. They're like a little bit disturbing. Was this like an eyeball with legs? I'm so confused. These go soft. I mean, I'm just like... I don't know what to say. Like, what is this? What is... Like, actually... At least there's a goat emoji. Like... Okay, I'm down with the... Isn't that a goat? I'm down with... I'm down with the goat emoji. Well, like, what? These are like sci-fi. It's like... Look at these weird aliens, bro. What is all this? Like, look at this. There's like an alien chick. And there's a facepalm. Alright, there's a facepalm one. They're trying to up their game so they can be like Twitch, but first of all, they need to fix your site. If they want to be like Twitch, they need to fix their site so viewers can actually find your stream. Because live stream discovery on YouTube is awful, man. That's why the viewership is so much higher on Twitch. I like the Rage SpongeBob. This is like the Rage SpongeBob. And then literally, like, what is this planet? In what context would you use this planet emoji? don't know. Hopefully they don't get sued by SpongeBob, bro. That looks. I mean, I guess SpongeBob can't trademark like any square face. This dude look like. Red face Rage Bob. And the other one is Green Boy Cube Pants. Alright, cool. Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream for the night. I just wanted to give some extra time at the end of the chat with Ethan to kind of chill with y'all and I don't know, just talk about what we should do going forward, see what would be fun. But yeah, appreciate everybody for stopping by, and come through again next week and we'll be doing something different. Probably this perfect time to use 3rd degree burn emoji. I agree. Absolutely. This is why they invented it. Pink hand. Straight up pink hand. Alright, y'all. DPend out. I'll see y'all again very soon. Thank you so much.